Hello everyone, this is part 14 of What If Naruto was actually helped by the third Hokage, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Naruto donned his game face the next day as Hinata helped him adorn his formal yukata. Since returning from the Sage Woods, Naruto had been holding the two clan head seats in all village council meetings. For most meetings, he sent shadow clones. However, today was the day the Sand Envoy arrived, and he was called to join the negotiations. He entered the council chamber and only Hiruzen, Jiraiya, Danzo, Baki, the Sand siblings and two other Suna counselors were in the room. He took the seat to Hiruzen's right before the meeting began. Greetings and thank you for traveling to join us in negotiations. We have agreed upon many of the terms through previous correspondence. Let us now review those terms. For the duration of the following treaty, Konoha agrees to redirect missions from the Wind Daimyo to Suna. For the next 5 years, Suna will pay 10% of its GDP to Konoha for payment of attempted invasion. For the next year, an additional 5% will be taken to cover the cost of repairs. For the release of all Suna shinobi, totaling 147, Sunagakure will give Konoha copies of all wind ninjutsu scrolls and a compendium of poisons and antidotes. For the next 10 years, Suna and Konoha agree to trades of timber, water and food in exchange for iron, salt and oil. These trades shall be tariff-free. Sunagakure will pay 2 million ryo over the next 10 years for the return of Subaku no Gaara, Kankura and Temari. Addendum: if Temari marries a ninja of the leaf and takes on an ambassadorial role, this shall be reduced to 200,000 ryo. Both villages agree to a mutual non-aggression treaty for the next 10 years, or for the duration of any political marriage. Upon violation of any of the above listed terms, Konoha retains the right to void this treaty and seek compensation by conquest. In good faith, the Hidden Leaf has strengthened the seal of the Jinchuriki Baku no Gaara. There is no compensation required for this action. These terms are now open to discussion. Baki hated that he was appointed the interim Kazekage. To handle the responsibility for the complete submission of Suna will not look good in the history books. It was his goal today to ensure that Sunagakure got to exist long enough to write said history books. Thank you, Hokage Dono. As you said, we have agreed to a good number of those terms prior to today. Suna wishes to offer Konoha 5C rank, 5B rank, 3A rank and 1's rank wind ninjutsu. The other jutsu fall under clan rights in Suna law. In return, we will provide samples of each poison and antidote along with the compendium of knowledge. Is this agreeable? Hiruzen looked at his counsel briefly before nodding his consent. Sunagakure wishes to offer Subaku no Temari's hand in marriage to Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. We find no other suitor worthy of her, and she has expressed as much. Baki-san, if that is the case then we will need to recess for the night. I have already informed Hokage-sama that such decision must fall upon my wives. In addition, I have already chosen the maximum number of spouses allowed to me under the CRA. You will have to receive the approval of Konoha's council to amend said law. I would never forsake those who have so readily given their hearts to me. Furthermore, I make no such guarantee that Temari and I will be married. I will only marry for love, nothing else. Thank you. Naruto maintained a professional tone. He had prepared himself for this possibility, but it still annoyed him. Temari had listened to Naruto speak. She had heard about his harem of sorts and wondered if she would be forced to join it. From Suna's angle, it must be Naruto because Naruto is the link to all other villages. Even if Temari married some other clan heir from Konoha, it would do very little to help Suna in the long run. Not to mention, the way he carries himself, his looks, his power, his passion and his determination set him far above all others his age. Then he went and helped Gaara for no reason other than he wants to help those with the same burden as him, and if Gaara is to be believed he wants to help the Biju. Yeah, she agreed with Suna, it was Naruto or bust. Naruto-san, forgive me for speaking out of turn. Am I that unappealing to you as a wife? Would you not fight for my hand in marriage? Temari's voice was timid and lacked confidence. Maybe it was because she had stood and spoke before she had even thought it through. I meant no such offense, Temari-san. I am sure you are a wonderful woman. Your skills as a kunoichi are superb and you are beautiful to boot. The problems I have with this arrangement are those I stated before. The CRA allows up to 3 wives per clan. If I do not set the limit there, then I will end up like the legend of King Solomon from ancient times. I am not greedy or proud enough to covet more wives. If my village asks it of me, and we get along well, then that is one issue. However, I have 6 women that share my heart. They are my strength, my love and my future. I cannot make this decision without them. I apologize if this causes you any distress. Naruto bowed to show her his sincerity. His words silenced her and the rest of the rebuttals from Suna. Danzo spoke up, we will take your petition to the Konoha Council and Naruto-kun's wives-to-be. We can reconvene in 3 days, if that works for you, Hokage Dono. Very well. Give us 3 days to consider the offer. I am sure you know this, Baki-san, but Naruto is the greatest prize of Konoha on multiple fronts. I would highly advise that you don't act like you are doing us a favor by offering Temari-san exclusively to him. I put that addendum in there to give you a way out, for it is not my wish to forcefully annex Suna. Enjoy your stay in Konoha. Hiruzen's words carried a warning that was duly received. After the Suna representative cleared the room, Danzo and Hiruzen tried to open Naruto up to the idea. They were sure they could get the council to agree. They were unsure about the girl's approving thought. Hiruzen had been watching Naruto's dates in the crystal ball. Naruto put a tremendous amount of effort into making each girl feel special. It is doubtful the girls wished to share him more than they already have. Naruto only said he would think about it. He was dismissed for the night and returned to the compound. He sent out clones to retrieve his girls for a talk. Anko was already in the house waiting for a date. However, she saw the look on Naruto's face and asked for a rain check. He gave a meek apology to her, but he promised her a rain check. Since it was Anko's night, she sat on the real Naruto's lap and each girl chose to accept a clone for the meeting. Okay, girls, I swear I did nothing this time. The only reason I even ask you to think about this is because it is another major village. My feelings up front, Temari is pretty and strong. I don't know her much more than that. I don't know how she feels, all I could pick up was concern and anxiety during the meeting. I am not exactly against it, yet I am reluctant to actively pursue it. I promised that I would bring this issue to you, and it has been brought. I will stay and listen to you talk it out so that I may get my cuddle time in. It makes me feel better. Naruto sounded tired, which was highly unusual for the blonde ball of energy. Anko took the lead, as she often does. I don't know this girl either. A big part of me says make her choose another man, but I can see only boys amongst your age group. I understand why she would choose Naruto-kun. Really, it comes down to do we feel like sharing even more than we currently are and how she would fit in with us girls. We all know she will fall for Ruto. Akatsuki picked up the mic next. I see the political merit in bringing her in. We would have a representative from each of the big 5. That in itself is significant. I don't mind including her so long as she develops genuine feelings for Ruto. Surprisingly, Haku spoke next. She had just woken up from her sex-induced coma. I put Ruto in the same situation. I knew him for less than a week prior to the Chunin exams. It would be hypocritical of me to refute on those grounds. Additionally, I know Naruto's heart is big enough for one more. I would like to ask you, Ruto-kun, what has you so drained about this whole thing? Naruto gave a dry chuckle before responding. I know I started this in an effort toward peace. For the large part, it has worked. However, it has worked too well. I feel it unfair of me to put each of you in this situation. I do wish we had more time together and that the pace would slow down a little bit. Then, there is this part of me that knows that I am the only person Suna could possibly ask for because of the position I find myself in. A part of me feels guilty for wanting to refuse the offer outright in defense of what I already have. Anko kissed Ruto passionately to break him out of his tailspin. Ruto, you are driving yourself in circles. Relax. This could never make us love you any less. Take a deep breath. We are, and will always be, here for you. Each of the girls wrapped their arms tightly around their clone at this statement. I don't know what I did to deserve you all. Kami blessed me so much already that I dare not ask for or expect more. Naruto's tears filled and clouded his azure blue eyes but refused to fall. Samui spoke up. Ruto-kun, I love you. It is clear that you are distressed about this. I think it is fair to say that if you asked each of us a year ago, would sharing you with 5 other girls be cool, the answer would have been a resounding no. Now, I can't imagine my life without my sisters. That is thanks to your love, Ruto-kun. Ino chimed in with a perky voice. All in favor of giving Temari a shot, say aye. Those that disagree, say nay. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. A round of aye was heard by 6 different voices. That settled the great Temari debate. Naruto didn't think about Temari again all night. Anko made sure of that. She had drawn inspiration from each of her sisters' stories and incorporated a mix throughout the night. Nothing drags a teenage boy from the pit of depression like hot, passionate sex. The rest of the girls thought along similar lines and gave their clones blowjobs. Kuro's was probably the best. After waking up, he reviewed the clone's memories and couldn't help but smile. Then he took Anko to the shower for a couple quickies that turned out not to be so quick. 2 days later the council convened and agreed to let Temari court Naruto. They gave a 1-year period for the two to develop feelings. Thus, even if it worked out, Temari would likely not marry Naruto at the same time as the other girls. With that item on the treaty addressed, the treaties were signed. All Suna ninja, including Temari, left the next day. Naruto gave Temari a 3-pronged kunai with his seal so that he could pick her up in 2 weeks' time. -4 months later, wedding day. Konoha was in a hectic state. Citizens were running everywhere setting up for what appeared to be a festival. Konoha was illuminated by the sun, and you could see lanterns, streamers, banners and various party supplies. A closer look around would show that Konoha spared no expense in preparing for the grand occasion. Over the main gate, the flags of Iwa, Kumo, Kiri and Konoha flew. They were positioned equal to each other as a sign of partnership and goodwill. The flags were flanked by Jonin and Chunin patrols that were monitoring the overwhelming number of foreign visitors entering Konoha. The village security was at maximum to prevent anything from interrupting this monumental moment in history. At the front gate, all clan heads, the civilian council and the Hokage stood behind Naruto. Naruto was given the honor of greeting the various Kage and daimyo into the village. Naruto had extended an invitation to the Rice Country daimyo. He had been working alongside Hiruzen and Naruto's clones since the invasion to annex Rice Country and get it under Konoha's protection. In return, the Rice daimyo had been helping to root out Orochimaru's old hideouts in an effort to eliminate the lingering forces. The Hokage was concerned about the prisoner who escaped during the invasion, Kabuto Yakushi, who was Orochimaru's right-hand man. Unfortunately, they had yet to locate this man. The raids on all of Orochimaru's hideouts in Rice, Fire, Lightning and Earth countries had been very successful. The countries shared information on this subject freely and convened a joint council on what to do with his research. Most of it was vile and the countries agreed unanimously to destroy it. However, there is always some light in the darkness. Orochimaru had stumbled upon some medical cures and captured many prisoners with bloodlines from all over the elemental nations. This medical information was shared amongst the villages and the prisoners were given back to their respective countries. After greeting the Rice daimyo and thanking his for his efforts and aid in rooting out Otogakure, Naruto spent the rest of the day greeting at the gate. It had been an exhausting, yet fruitful, day. Much to his protestation, the village council had taken over control of the wedding guest list, since the village was funding the wedding. Actually, Naruto would fully admit that he had almost zero control over the wedding. He just went along for the ride and supported his girls any way he could. Temari was also the head coordinator for the wedding party. Each girl had brought one girl to stand next to them as a maid of honor. Naruto had elected one friend for best man for each of his 6 girls. It was Temari's job to coordinate for these people and ensure they knew what to do for the wedding. The wedding day arrived and the Namika's estate was bustling with brides and their attendants running around preparing. The girls were staging at the Namika's compound before heading to the Uzumaki shrine. The village had agreed to upgrade the Uzumaki shrine and turned it into one of the largest shrines in Konoha. The Uzumaki had always honored the direct link to the Shinigami, so the shrine had various tributes to the Shinigami. Naruto had drawn out a rendition of his seal, and that was the centerpiece that was proudly displayed on the front of the shrine now. He said that it would honor the new pact his clans were forming with the god. The girls shared a chaotic staging area in the shrine. Women from various countries were running around performing various tasks for their respective brides. The room was pandemonium incarnate. One wedding was bad enough, 7 weddings at once was hell. Tsunade was in a mood. She wanted a small wedding with Jiraiya but had been overruled by the old monkey. He said the Sannin were of international importance and should share the stage with Naruto. Thus, Tsunade had relented and was going to be married the same day as her adoptive son. Shizune was running around the staging room handing out drinks to everyone. Tsunade then stood in her beautiful dress and raised her saucer in the air. Alright, listen up. It is a tradition for the bride to share a drink with her wedding party before the wedding. Now, that means I wish to share a drink with all of the brides to be and those important to them. I propose a toast to getting this crazy day over with. At the wide eyes in the room she added, and to the health and prosperity of all couples married today. Everyone drank to that. In front of the shrine, 500 chairs were grown directly from the ground by Yamato, Konoha's last Mokuton user. Each chair was filled by important people from around the elemental nations. In front of the chairs were 7 elaborately decorated tresses where each of the brides would be positioned. In front of 6 of the tresses stood a copy of Naruto, dressed in an elegant red kimono. The kimono bore the Uzumaki Namika's crest on its back. Over its heart was the union symbol for the elemental nations. This logo was an Uzumaki-styled swirl with the kanji for earth, wind, fire, water and lightning within the 5 blades of the whirlpool. It was an internationally recognized symbol for shinobi that acted as ambassadors and any international task force. Under the far left tress, Jiraiya stood in a fire-red tuxedo. The old perv had cleaned his white, spiky hair up and had it situated into a tamed ponytail. The Mizukage, Tsuchikage and Reikage, decorated in their respective ornamental garments, stood in front of 3 tresses where their kunoiki were to be married. Hiruzen stood in front of the tress by Jiraiya. The fire daimyo stood in front of the 5th tress. The 6th and 7th tresses did not have anyone alongside Naruto. An orchestral band played a song denoting the arrival of the wedding party. A procession walked down the main aisle toward the front. Kakashi and Shizune walked down the aisle and positioned themselves next to Jiraiya and Tsunade. Zabuza and a mist kunoiki did the same and stood in front of the Mizukage. Omoi and Yugito walked down the aisle and stood in front of the Reikage. Akatsuki and Kuretsuki's maid of honor stopped in front of Onoki. Gekko Hayate and Yuzuki Yugao stopped in front of the fire daimyo. Sakura and Sasuke stopped in front of the 6th tress. Finally, Neji and Tenten stopped in front of the 7th tress. The music changed to announce the brides. Tsubaki walked arm in arm with Tsunade, followed by Haku and Zabuza, Bi and Samui, Kuretsuki and her father, Anko and Hana Inuzuka, Ino and Inoiki and Hinata and Hayashi. Each escort handed off the brides to Jiraiya or a Naruto. Inoiki and Hayashi then took their places in front of the 6th and 7th tresses respectively. Q appeared on an elevated platform in front of all 7 tresses. Welcome esteemed guests, we thank you for joining us for this grand celebration. I am Q and will be the master of ceremonies. Today we celebrate the marriage Tsunade Senju and Jiraiya, 2 very important people to the groom. We also come together today to celebrate the union of Haku of the Mist, Samui of Kumo, Kuretsuki of the Stone, Anko of the Leaf, Ino of the Leaf and Hinata of the Leaf to Naruto Uzumaki Namika's. For those of you who don't know me, I am the Kyuubi no Kitsune, Naruto's soul-bound partner. While Jiraiya may be a lovable knucklehead, Naruto is a human of fierce intelligence, respect, humility, strength, determination and love. Today, we come to celebrate love and all of the blessings it brings. It is our sincere hope that the love we celebrate today will be the starting point on the path to peace. Please begin the ceremonies. The audience watched as Jiraiya married Tsunade. Tsunade was wearing an elegant white strapless wedding dress with her hair let down and flowing freely behind her. She had a Senju-style hair ornament with a glowing green crystal embossed with the Senju emblem. A polite round of applause went up after the 2 exchanged vows and rings. The weddings for Naruto and his girls followed the same ceremonial script until it was time to exchange vows and rings. This is also where each ceremony was allowed to diverge and follow the tradition of each girl. The Mizukage stepped forward, carrying an ornate ceremonial bowl of sea water. Naruto Uzumaki and Haku Momaki, as all things came from the sea, so do we ask the sea to bless this union. May then had them link hands. She sprinkled water on each of their foreheads before placing the joined hands into the bowl. Haku wore a beautiful ice blue, long-sleeve wedding dress with a high collar that kissed her neck. The wedding dress had a diamond-shaped cutout that showed off modest cleavage and accentuated her beauty. The backless dress contrasted the modesty of the front, almost completely exposed and coming to a point just above her shapely rear. She looked longingly at Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, the most unpredictable ninja and owner of my heart. You gave my life new meaning and inspired me to find a new purpose for my life. I love you for your pure heart and selfless strength. You came into my life and turned my world upside down in the best way possible. I am yours. I will love you, till the day the sea reclaims my body and hope our souls find each other in the pure world. Haku Uzumaki, we started out as enemies in the land of waves. I felt the purity of your heart and chakra as soon as I met you. When I removed your mask, your beauty disarmed me and made my heart skip a beat. The trust you chose to place in me since then has only grown. I vow to love and cherish you. To hold you when you're cold and be there when you feel alone. Kami blessed me with you, my ice princess. From now, till the day I die, I love you. Naruto's voice wavered slightly with emotion, but still carried for all to hear. After Naruto's vows, the next ceremony began. The Hokage stepped forward holding a ceremonial band decorated in lightning. Samui and Naruto Namikaze, may the clouds bless you and hold you. May you be spared their wrath in storms, sheltered from the burning sun in their shade, and may your life be blessed by their absence on sunny days. May your union earn the favor of Kami in heaven. You may now exchange vows. I hand them join hands and wrap the ceremonial cloth around their wrists, binding them together. Samui wore a truly stunning white dress. It wrapped around her neck in a thin strip and exposed her chest and back. The chest area was modest but enticing, while the back showed off the strength and beauty of a top-notch kunoichi. Samui started, Ruto, from the moment I read your letter, I knew you was something special. When I saw you for the first time, my feelings reawakened. The feelings that you awoke in me brought color to my life and fullness to my heart. I vow to remain yours, and only yours. To walk alongside you on this perilous path toward peace. I love you like crazy and will love you long after Kami calls me to the pure world. Naruto wiped a tear from his eye before responding to her vows. Samui Namikaze, my cool wife, he paused to let the laughter die down from the Kumo crowd that knew Samui. What started as a crazy idea in my head has turned into the greatest blessing of my life. My beautiful and unshakable lightning princess. You bring calm and sanity to the chaos of my life. When I am with you, my heart is at peace. I vow to love you, cherish you and walk alongside you for the rest of my days. This Naruto clone wiggled his eyebrows and squeezed her hand when he said, love you. Samui's giggles and the beautiful smile on her face lit up the area under Tress 3. Onoki took over after Naruto's second set of vows. He walked forward carrying an old stone that had ancient carvings of a man and woman holding each other on it. It was the matrimonial stone of Iwa. He had Kurotsuki and Naruto each place a hand on it. They decided their free hands would hold each other's. Kurotsuki Kamizura and Naruto Uzumaki. The wall of stone is the strength to endure all things. As the earth's surface shapes and bends itself to the whims of time, it maintains its strong foundation. May your union be blessed by the stone. May you endure all of life's struggles together and may your foundation of love last for all your days. You may now exchange vows. Kurotsuki's black eyes with pink irises peered into the depth of the azure blue orbs. She was wearing a ruby red dress, her hair trailed in waves to her mid-back. She adorned a beautiful golden hair ornament with the Kamizura family crest seen through the ruby. Ruto, you're a strange one. You transformed a bloodborne grudge into an olive branch. The best decision of my life was giving you a chance. Since reading your letters, my love for you has grown daily. My heart aches when we are apart, and its truest desire is to be near you. The past year has shown me the joy that love can bring. My will of stone is to protect our family and the peace we are aiming toward. I vow to love you with all I am for as long as we walk this earth. Kuro-chan, like a fire ruby will shine in the darkest depths, you illuminate my life. You help me find joy in all things. I am forever grateful you gave our love a chance. What was once a spark of curiosity has grown into a passionate fire. May our love be like a diamond. May we take all the heat and pressure of life and use it to refine ourselves. May our love shine for all to see. I vow to love and cherish you, in this life and the next. The fire daimyo stepped forward holding an ornate basin that held dancing orange flames. Fire brings light to the darkness and warmth to the cold. Fire purifies impurity and forges the strongest metals. May your love be like this fire, everlasting and burning brightly. May it continue to bathe the world in the light and provide comfort to each other. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze and Anko Namikaze, may the fire of your love keep your hearts pure and forge an everlasting bond. He took Anko and Naruto's hand and held it above the fire. Anko's normal seductive beauty was transformed into a majestic beauty. She wore a traditional white, strapless wedding dress. It had snake-like patterns in the fabric of the wedding dress that accentuated her curves. She had golden snake earrings with an ornamental gold crest made of interlocking snakes in her hair. Ruto, you saw me when all others saw a snake. You loved me when all others offered hate. You brought me into your arms when I was alone. You freed me of my curse. For these, and many other reasons, I pledge to love you eternally. I vow to do all I can to protect and build our family. I am yours until death do us part, and hopefully forevermore. Anko Namikaze, my Hebiheim. We have grown closer and closer together since I was 9 and saw a woman that dared defy the world. I fell in love with your strength, I was captivated by your beauty, and I am enraptured in your presence to this day. You spice up my life and keep me on my toes. I vow to love and cherish you for all my days. The ceremony was the same for Ino and Hinata. We will move straight to the vows. Ino chose to do her hair up in a ceremonial bun adorned with yellow lilies. The yellow wedding dress covered her shapely bust and a diamond cutout exposed her perfectly toned abdomen. The yellow of the dress contrasted beautifully with her blue eyes. Her eyes shone over her bright red lips and drew Naruto in. Ruto, I would like everyone to know I was the first one to call you Ruto. Since we were 3, you have been my son. Your sun-kissed blonde hair and brilliant blue eyes pulled me to you. Your warmth, kindness, generosity and love kept me near you. You are the reason I learned what true love is. You're the man I love. I vow to honor that love and care for it like the flowers in my shop. I will nurture it, care for it and give it all it needs to last the rest of our days. Naruto smiled at Ino's words and Azure met baby blue. Ino Namikaze, my flower princess. You brighten up my life and the lives of all those around you. Your smile is Kami's gift, and your scent lingers in my dreams. Your energy revitalizes me and keeps my heart full and young. You are one of my oldest friends and I am blessed to have you as a lifelong partner. I vow to love and cherish you for all the days of my life. Hinata had her princess-cut hair done up in a traditional ceremonial bun. She had ornate silver ornamental decorations that contrasted beautifully with her silky black hair. She wore a modest lavender wedding dress that accentuated her shapely body. She projected a refined beauty often reserved for princesses that made Naruto's heart jump into his throat. Hinata took a deep breath and stared into Naruto's eyes. She was always able to pull strength from them. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, without you I would never have made it this far. When I was 3, you saved me for the first time. You freed my clan from its curse to help me achieve my dream. You give freely the love and joy that fills my heart. You embolden my heart and are the moon to my night. Your love and light chase away the shadows of my life. For these and many other reasons, I love you and will continue to do so for the rest of my days. Naruto looked into the beautiful white eyes of Hinata. He marveled at the beauty and lavender tint they possessed. Hinata Uzumaki, my Tsukiheim. You and your clan have been lifelong friends and now partners. You are the calm to my storm and the beauty to my beast. Your presence brings me joy and peace. Your eyes hold the beauty of the moon and can see right through me. You temper my fire and make me wish to be a better man every single day. My friend, teammate and lover. I vow to love and cherish you for all my days. Throughout the vows, many tears were shed. Mikoto had given Guy a whole box of tissues and it did little to stem the flow of tears from him and Lee. There was a miniature lake forming below the two. They would normally be holding each other, but Mikoto and Sakura kept bonking them on the head to prevent the horrid genjutsu from ruining the lovely wedding. Sasuke and Karen were holding hands and enjoying the wedding. Karen was amused to see Sasuke crying during the various vows his honorary brother made, especially during the last one. In general, the crowd thought that this very unique joint wedding was adorable and heartwarming. After the vows, Q had them exchange rings and announced that they may now kiss the brides. 6 deep and passionate kisses moistened the panties of every woman in attendance, while Jiraiya was limited to a kiss with no tongue. The momentary pout that flickered across his face became very well hidden when Tsunade stepped on his toes. Those in attendance then showered the newlyweds with rice and confetti as they made their way back into the shrine. Naruto created a host of clones to tidy everything up and prepare for the reception. He then flashed the group of them to the reception. The reception was held in Konoha's high-end district. It was quite literally a street party. Naruto felt that while they could limit the wedding to 500, that this was an event everyone should celebrate. There was a heavily decorated stage set up in the plaza next to a park. The stage seated all the newlyweds, wedding party, Kage and foreign dignitaries. There were tables set up all throughout the park for the open reception. Konoha hired almost every chef it had to provide the massive feast for the banquet. It seemed like the whole of Konoha was present. Those that couldn't fit in the park were partaking in street parties. All of Konoha seemed to have succumbed to the will of Dionysus. Drinks flowed freely, food and drink were shared, and the cacophony of voices echoed for miles around Konoha. Jiraiya, Tsunade, Naruto, Samui, Haku, Kuretsuki, Anko, Hinata and Ino had to endure a never-ending greeting line. Everyone wishing them luck and trying to curry favor. Luckily, Hiruzen knew this would happen and had an Anbu team designated to keep the line flowing smoothly. After an hour of greeting high-class guests and dignitaries, the wedding party was finally able to eat and enjoy the festivities. Naruto shared dances with each of his girls. It took people a while to get used to watching 6 Narutos on the dance floor, but in the end, everyone that knew him just thought, "That's a Naruto." After the first dance, everyone joined on the dance floor. The funniest dance of the night was watching Zabuza try to dance with Mei. Let's leave it at ungraceful. The most surprising dance of the night was Lee and Guy spinning, flipping and dipping Sakura and Mikoto to a rowdy country song. It was a beautiful night where people of all great nations celebrated as one. Hiruzen never thought he would see the day where Ninja of Iwa would dance with Ninja of Konoha. The wedding party retired to the Namikaze estate after a long night of celebrations. Even though it was 1 a.m., the sounds of celebration still managed to break through the privacy barriers around the Namikaze estate. The newlyweds were so worn out and tired that this was probably the tamest night of the previous year. They all joined Naruto on his king-sized bed after changing out of their wedding dresses. Naruto slept with Anko and Ino on his right arm, Hinata and Haku on his left. Kuretsuki slept lower down on the bed with her head sharing Naruto's abdomen with Samui. Despite the crowded bed, all parties had grown to cherish the other's presence, which gave the group a wonderful night's sleep. Naruto cursed the sun's light for rousing him from his warm and comfortable position. The 6 girls were still resting peacefully, so Naruto just thanked Kami and lay still to let the girls get their sleep. Unfortunately, Naruto felt the pull on his conscience that was him being called to the Hokage's office. Naruto created a clone and swapped places with it. The seamless transition only woke up Hinata, who Naruto whispered back to the realm of dreams. He took a shower and threw on his kit before flashing to the Hokage's office. Mei and Onoki had joined Hiruzen for an update meeting on the Akatsuki and state of affairs in the elemental nations. Since the Great Five were working together, it became much easier to keep tabs on the renegade organization. Hiruzen had also shared his information on the orange-masked man with the other Kage. He asked him to exercise discretion with this information because if he was Madara, then that would have massive ramifications for the shinobi nations. It is suspected that the Akatsuki was gathering support from the minor nations that occupied territories between the Great Five. The minor nations were getting nervous. They knew of the alliance and the danger it posed to them. Not that any of the Kage actually planned on attacking, but it is an easy enough premise to rally the more militant minor villages. So far, Kusa, Hoshi, Yuki and Tanagakure have been noticed as mobilizing. Nothing directly conspiratorial, but there has been increased activity. The various intelligence organizations suspected Akatsuki involvement. Through the joint information gathered by the nations, the Cage knew that Akatsuki was starting to make its move. They had each reinforced protection around their Jinchuriki. Each Jinchuriki was to never be left unattended. Han and Roshi hung out together most days with a golem team guarding them. Mei had tried to relocate Utakata with no luck. She had a hunter team trying to locate him, but last update she received showed Akatsuki were on his trail. The Sanbi was still dead and would likely not reform for another year or two. I kept B and Yugito together as well since there was an attempt made on B last year by a blue, shark-looking Akatsuki member known as Kisum. Gaara had been informed about the threat they posed, but all Cage agreed that he was vulnerable. Finally, there was Fu of Takagakure. The village of Taki posed almost no threat to any S-rank ninja, thus, she is the most vulnerable. The Cage planned on sending an international team to inform Taki of the threat and offer assistance. When Naruto walked into the office, the Cage greeted him and congratulated him on a wonderful wedding celebration. They each apologized for not giving him a day off, but this was urgent. Taki was recently infiltrated by rogue ninja that had stolen some of the hero's water. The village has had an alliance with them since Konoha gifted them the 7 tails and they were calling for support. Naruto-kun, we would like you to assemble 2 squads and go to reinforce Taki. If possible, retrieve the hero's water. While there, please try to connect with their Jinchuriki. We all agree that she is the most vulnerable. We have prepared this offer of alliance and defense contract if they are willing to let Fu reside here with the 7 tails. We are being generous in order to deny Akatsuki a valuable piece. When done, please return here via Haration to ensure the safe transfer. Hiruzen used a strictly professional tone of voice since the other Cage were present. I added, who do you plan on taking with you, Naruto? Naruto bowed to show respect before replying, Honorable Cage, I believe it unwise to separate from my new wives at this time. If I bring them with me, along with Jiraiya, I believe that would be the best team. Why Jiraiya-sama? Asked Mei. Because I believe your estimation is correct. Taki is the most vulnerable, especially after the recent attack. I believe there is a mid to high risk of running into Akatsuki. I would prefer taking another Jinchuriki with me, but I know that is not possible. As such, I believe a Sannin is the best alternative. Onoki chuckled briefly. You are indeed wise beyond your years, Naruto-kun. You worry that you would not be able to deal with 2 S-ranked shinobi and protect your wives. Hi, Onoki-jisan. My girls are strong, that much is certain. However, I cannot say with certainty that they would be able to hold off an S-rank threat yet. As I stated earlier, it would be unwise to forcefully separate us at this time. Bringing Jiraiya mitigates both threats. Plus, this could almost be a honeymoon if we don't run into the Akatsuki. The Cage all chuckled and Hiruzen sent Anbu to bring Jiraiya. Jiraiya entered 10 minutes later. He took in the gathering and figured it had to be about Naruto. Okay, Gaki. Why the hell am I being dragged here in the morning after my wedding? Naruto assumed his signature sheepish pose and chuckled before replying. Kyofu, I am in the same situation. Long story short, we need to take a trip to Taki. I cannot leave my girls behind and due to the active threats, I need you for backup. Worst case scenario, we get a good fight. Best case scenario, I look the other way as you watch your muse at work. The Cage all looked at each other, but it was Onoki that asked the question. Jiraiya, don't tell me you use young Naruto as the inspiration for the books we love so much. Yes, all Cage read Ika Ika. It might as well be considered a quirk prerequisite for the position. Jiraiya just chuckled and waved Onoki off. They all thought it better left unsaid, so Naruto and Jiraiya bid the Cage farewell and went to break the news to their newlyweds. After waking the girls up, making them breakfast and packing their bags, the group set off for Taki. Jiraiya didn't eat breakfast but partook in the finer wake-up call for Tsunade. Thus, when he joined the group with a shit-eating grin on his face, everyone knew. The girls just wished that they had their own time with Naruto this morning. The group headed out around noon for Taki and camped out about half a day away from Taki. That night, Naruto conveniently forgot to put up the privacy seals on the tent. That night alone inspired a whole new book for Jiraiya. 4 months later, Ika Ika, Sister Wives would make its debut. The group arrived the next day late in the afternoon in front of the hidden waterfall. Naruto flexed his chakra to alert the guards and patrols of their presence. After a minute, a mint-haired girl in her early teens appeared at the front of a squad of Taki ninja. She wore a crop-top white shirt with mesh armor seen around its edges. She also wore a short, white skirt and white arm guards, and she had a red container on her back. She spoke in a suspicious tone to address the international ninja group. Hello, Ninja-san, I am Fu, state your business with Taki. Naruto gave her a disarming smile and extended his hand. Nice to meet you, Fu-san, my name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. These are my wives and Jiraiya the Sannin. We have come in response to a request from Shibuki. I have also wished to meet you, 7. Tell Chomei-Q says hello. Fu's eyes seemed to zone out for a bit before she smiled brightly. Naruto-sama, we have been expecting you. News of your exploits have reached us, and I would be glad to talk with you. I don't know about becoming your wife though, I think you have enough already. The girls smirked at her in amusement. Anko decided to be the group's representative. You'd be surprised, Fu-chan. Naruto can tire us all out. We might have to call you in for reinforcements. Anko gave Fu a kinky wink. The poor girl just blushed, turned around and beckoned them to follow. The whole group shook their heads. No matter how true what Anko said is, it still isn't something that should be shared with strangers. The group was escorted by the Taki squad through a complex labyrinth in the behind the waterfall. Naruto could sense traps built into the labyrinth that would make a frontal assault through the cave suicide. The group finally exited through the caves and saw a group of Taki elders standing behind a man in cage-like robes. Naruto once again took the lead. Good afternoon, Shibuki Dono, I presume. At the nod of the man's head, he continued. We are the response team from Konoha. I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, this is Jiraiya, these are my wives Anko, Hinata, Ino, Samui, Kuretsuki and Haku. We are here to assist in recovery of your hero water, and I also wish to address your council. Would that be possible? Well met, Naruto-sama. I am Shibuki, the elected leader of Taki. We would appreciate your assistance and we will move to our council chambers as soon as you're ready. Fu, please show the others the site of the theft while we talk to Naruto-sama. Fu nodded and beckoned the girls to follow her. Luckily, Hinata and Anko were tracking specialists. It should be possible for them to track them, even with a 3-day head start. Naruto and Jiraiya followed the council to their chambers. The council took their seats and got the formalities out of the way. They then gave the floor to Naruto. Counselors, I come today to discuss 2 things with you. First, I wish to warn you about a group of rogue ninjas dubbed the Akatsuki. They have a core group of 10s ranked ninjas, and they have many more spies and minions throughout the elemental nations. The goal is to capture Jinchuriki for some reason. We can only speculate on their end game. We do know that one of their core members is Kakazu, a missing ninja from this village. Use that to evaluate the strength of the other ninja. Naruto stopped here to let them digest. Shibuki discussed this information with the counselors in hushed tones before responding to Naruto. We thank you for this information, Naruto Dono. We are wondering why you offer this freely and what you wish to do about this. Naruto gave a small bow to the council at this. Shibuki, we offer this information as a sign of good faith. My goal is to bring peace to the elemental nations and the Akatsuki poses the biggest threat to that peace. I am a Jinchuriki myself and I care about what happens to my brethren. It is my hope that you will let Fu return with us to Konoha. I will train her how to bond with her Biju partner to prepare for the threats ahead. Shouting erupted from the counselors. Naruto could pick out comments like, they wish to take our Jinchuriki, and, the other nations were right. Naruto had planned on letting them respond to this, but he grew impatient. He flexed his chakra to silence the council. Let me be frank, I do not need any power other than my own if I wished to destroy you. That is not a threat, but it is a truth. The ones after the Jinchuriki have prepared to fight Biju. If you are thinking that you could protect Fu, I beg to differ. There is no ninja in this village that could force me to use my partner's power. Even if they took your vaunted hero water, your defenses are useless against a rogue ninja from this village. They will undoubtedly come for Fu. You cannot stop them. I have this offering from Konoha and the international forces. We offer trade and defense to Taki in return for letting us borrow Fu. Plus, Having Fu out of your village will take the target off Taki. I have not the patience nor the will to listen to your back and forth. Consider the offer and give me your answer when we complete the mission. Naruto put the updated treaty and offer on the table. He was forced to deal with the Konoha Council enough, so he didn't feel like staying in there any longer than necessary. He informed Jiraiya about his suspicions about one of the counselors as they walked out. He was getting a nervous and negative feeling from him, which varied greatly from the outrage on the others. It put Naruto on edge. An hour later, he met back up with Fu and his girls. They had picked up the trail and gotten the general direction the ninjas were heading. Likely suspects are Iwa rebels or Hoshi. Jiraiya decided to stay behind in Taki to keep an eye on things. He had the same bad feeling in his gut that Naruto did. Naruto summoned Tally, a tracker fox, to track the missing ninja and the group headed out. Evidently, Fu was assigned to go with the team and protect Taki's interests. Thanks to Tally, they had caught up to the group of missing ninjas on the border to Iwa. Naruto was grateful that he was officially on good terms with Iwa. There were still concerns about rogue elements, and it seemed like this group may be one of those elements. Naruto sent clones to scout out the cave system the ninjas were using. It had 2 entrances that he could find and approximately 12 missing ninjas from a variety of countries. He split the girls up into teams of 3 and 4. Anko, Haku and Ino took the rear entrance while Fu, Akatsuki, Samui and Hinata took the main entrance. Each group had a Naruto clone captain with them. The clones would not intervene unless needed. Naruto also summoned a few shadow foxes to keep an eye on his girls. Akatsuki led the way into the caves, flashed some hand signs and directed the girls to prepare for combat. The 2 guards watching the inner passage would alert the others if they weren't careful. Kuro and Samui darted from their cover and slit the throats before the 2 missing nin could make a sound. They caught the bodies and placed them to the side. Hinata called out that there were 8 missing nin in the next chamber. Kuro said that she would flood the chamber with lava, but Fu said they were tasked with retrieving the hero water if possible. Therefore, it would have to be precision attacks. They sent a shadow fox with a message to the other group to collapse on the main chamber in 5 minutes. It also warned of the 2 guards on their end, thanks to Hinata. Anko's team made short work of the 2 guards. Kami, snakes are scary. Haku and Ino were more than happy to let Anko take care of those 2. Ino had the idea to take over the mind of one of the ninjas in the main room and use him to scout for the hero's water. Anko approved and let the other group know via Kitsi, a small 2-tailed shadow fox. Ino hijacked the mind of what looked to be the leader. She was hidden by Naruto's cloaking seal and guarded by Anko. Hey, boys, who wants a taste of that water? I bet nobody here is man enough to take a sip. Ino decided to use the leader to taunt the others into revealing the water's location. Ah, shut your yap, Bruce. Supposedly, that shit'll kill ya. I tell you what, if you do it first, I am sure Gary will match ya, an unknown ninja said. Okay, but if we do this, we get first dibs on the next bitch we capture and we get to finish the sake we have left. Ino made Bruce say. At the taunting cheers of the remaining ninjas, Ino sealed the deal. Alright, bring it here. Gary, come here you Neanderthal, we are going to sample the product before completing this job. There was a large round of cheers as one of the bandits brought the hero's water forward. Ino made Bruce take a sip, chopped Gary's head off and then he plunged his sword through his chest. Ino cut the connection just before the sword hit the bandit's chest, but Bruce couldn't stop the momentum through the disorienting feeling left over from Ino's mind transfer jutsu. Anko sent snakes in to secure the hero's water before all hell broke loose. The 6 remaining missing ninjas turned and faced the direction the snakes were coming from. Hinata, Samui, Kuro and Fu attacked from the shadows with well-placed flash tags. The screams that erupted from the bandits and the subsequent flailing motions made it child's play to kill all but one of them. They kept the missing ninja from Taki alive, evidently his name was Suien. They slapped a paralysis seal on him and threw him into a prisoner scroll. Naruto walked in and congratulated the girls, they all performed perfectly. They stripped the belongings off of the ninjas and sealed them away. 2 were B-class missing ninja with bounties in Iwa. Naruto took those 2 heads. Suien was a A-class missing ninja from Taki, so Naruto thought the girls could collect the bounties there. Kuro provided the complementary fire jutsu to burn the remains and they all departed for Taki. They set up camp just inside the Taki border. There wasn't much of a rush and the group didn't want to navigate in the dark. Fu was startled when Naruto summoned some clones to keep watch and lay out security seals. Meanwhile, his whole group went into the same tent for some celebratory activities. Then, another Naruto clone came and offered her a tent and helped her set it up. Fu was used to sleeping in the trees of the forests that surrounded Taki, but she supposed it would be nice to sleep on a mat for a change. After setting up the tent, the Naruto clone decided to go to a more serious conversation. Fu, how have you been treated in Taki? I know that life isn't easy for Jinchuriki, and I was picking up mixed feelings inside the village. His earnest and concerned tone caused Fu to relax, despite the nature of the question. Not great. The only one who treats me with respect is Shibuki. The rest just order me around like I am some emotionless soldier. I am not allowed inside the village on most days and Shibuki has ninja squads bring me food. Most of the time it is expired or nearly rotten. She replied in a somber tone. I am sorry to hear that. What if I said I made them an offer that they likely can't refuse that would bring you to Konoha with me? Would you like to leave? Really? Why would you do that for me? What is in it for you? The hope that flashed through her orange eyes was rapidly clouded with suspicion. Because I am the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. I made a promise to him to find my brethren and help ease their burdens. In return, Q agreed to partner with me to help me achieve my dreams. Once again, Fu's eyes went hazy and returned shortly after. Chomei says there is no way that her brother would work with a silly little human. Naruto smirked at this and formed his cross-shaped hand seal. Moments later, Q formed and walked over to Fu. Q had a mischievous grin on his face. He walked up and looked directly at Fu's eyes. Oh really, little sister? You don't see in this boy what I see in him. You don't see how in a little over 15 years he has united the 5 great nations. Oh, how blind my happy-go-lucky little sister has become. Fu was confused when her tenant started yelling in her head. It turns out that when the queen of all insects starts rambling in cliques that it is hard to discern. Eventually Fu was brought back from the one-sided conversation with her Biju, and she looked in between Naruto and Q with an awestruck look on her face. You were telling the truth. Chomei wishes to know how you freed her brother. Fu wishes to know too. Chomei has been Fu's only friend and I want to let her out too. Naruto and Q just smiled down at the little girl. It is a clan secret, however, if you return to Konoha with us, I will teach it to you. Trust me when I say that I want to do right by you and Chomei. Fu was quiet for a while with the usual clouded look on her face. She turned back to Naruto with a smile and said, Fu wants to go to Konoha with you. Fu thinks it would be much better than staying in Taki. They continued talking for a while about more light-hearted topics after that. Fu didn't seem to have any problems with Naruto and his harem, although she did clarify that she didn't have to become one of his wives if she wanted to go to Konoha. Naruto just laughed at that and waved her off. It was about an hour after the group went to bed that things started going haywire. Around 1 a.m., Naruto felt one massive and one large chakra signature approaching their campsite. They were still around a mile out and walking slowly, but they felt dark. His Shinigami seal started burning and he had a feeling he needed to go deal with these two. Naruto had one of the guard clones flash to Jiraiya and inform him that a massive fight was imminent and give him directions on how to find them. Naruto roused the girls and told them that he wanted them to get battle ready. They were to keep the distance and not intervene. If it is the Akatsuki, he would need a clear mind and couldn't worry about them getting hurt. They all vehemently refused and told him right where to shove it. Since Naruto feared the wrath of all 6 wives, he relented but said they are only to fill support roles. Naruto sped off into the night with 10 clone captains already formed and wearing the stealth seals. He pulled on Kurama's chakra to immediately replenish his reserves before summoning 2 4-tailed battle foxes that were around the size of lions. He was going to go check this out and wanted to be prepared for a worst-case scenario. A couple minutes later, Naruto approached the 2 strangers as they were walking along the foothills of Iwa's mountain range. They were doing nothing to hide their chakra, fully confident to flaunt their presences. One of them was rambling to the other when the taller one shut him up. Naruto had activated his eyes and took in the unsightly pair. The one that had been rambling about some Jashin wannabe god had gray, slicked back hair, a crazy look on his face and was wearing a black robe with red clouds. He wore his crossed-out hishiate around his neck and carried a big three-bladed red scythe. Kurama warned his partner that this fool was a Jashinist and that he may be blessed with some sort of immortality. The partner stood a full head taller than the Jashinist and most of his face was covered by the black robes. He had his head wrapped in some white cloth and wore a crossed-out hishiate of Taki. That let Naruto know this was Kakuzu of the Hidden Waterfall Village. Naruto also registered that these were the two the Shinigami had tasked him with killing. He waved his girls back, saying that he would be the one to engage first. Then, Naruto presented himself in front of the two ninjas. He knew that he had been sensed out but figured that at this distance he would be able to react in time. What brings you two to these parts? If I ventured a guess, you would be going after the Nanabi Jinchuriki, am I right? What's it to you, heathen? I am going to kill you and offer your blood to Jashin-sama. Oh, I can't wait to be covered in your blood. Oh, the sweet ecstasy I will experience by carving you up and offering you to Lord Jashin. Hiden's hysterical tone escalated as he continued to speak. Kakuzu threw ice water on Hiden's excitement. Shut it, you fool. This is the Kyuubi Jinchuriki and he chose to confront us. We have been warned against fighting him. Kyuubi Jinchuriki, tell us where the Nanabi is, and we will spare you the embarrassment of your defeat for right now. Naruto adopted a cocky smirk on his face. Oh, is that right, Kakuzu? Tell me what you want with the Jinchuriki, and I may point you in the right direction. Then again, maybe I won't. Hiden screamed out at Naruto. Shut your mouth, heathen. You don't need to know what Leader Sama is planning with the Biju. All you need to worry about is greeting Lord Jashin. He attempted to make a move toward Naruto before being grabbed by Kakuzu for the second time. Once again, Kakuzu forced his partner to exercise restraint and held him back. He was getting a terrifying feeling from the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. At that point, a massive blue barrier surrounded the area. 4 clone captains decided to contain the two marks. 6 remained hidden inside the barrier. Naruto sensed his girls outside the barrier along with Fu. They were not happy about him sealing himself inside with the two enemies while they were forced to watch. Naruto spoke up in a confident tone filled with hidden rage. Hiden and Kakuzu, the Shinigami has a score to settle with you two. I care not to meet this wannabe god that you worship. Jashin is a demon of destruction, not even a real god. If you tell me about the Akatsuki and its goals, I will make your death painless. Kakuzu could no longer restrain Hiden. The Jashinist charged across the expanse at Naruto. Nobody talked about his Jashin-sama that way. As Hiden began sprinting at Naruto, Naruto flashed into his golden cloak and disappeared. He drew Whirlpool's edge and met Hiden in the middle of the battleground. He slid under a wild horizontal swing of the massive scythe and severed Hiden's right arm with an upward slash. The limb fell limply to the ground while the scythe went flying 20 feet before reaching the end of its chain length. The shocked Hiden couldn't react as Naruto spun up and out of his slide and severed his head. The whole interaction took about 3 seconds. The severed head of Hiden made a squelching sound as it hit the ground, but that didn't stop Hiden from rattling off a chain of curses at Naruto. While that was happening, the clone captains performed the collaboration Justu, Firestorm, on the distracted Kakuzu. He was unable to fully react in time due to the scale of the attack and the wind mask that he was wearing as a heart broke due to the immense heat. When the firestorm had cleared, Kakuzu saw Naruto splitting Hiden's severed head in two. That ceased the profanities that were pouring out of the severed head. Now, there was just gurgling noises coming from the bisected head that was still somehow moving its jaws. Hiden's whole world was pain. His brain was split in half, but he was still somehow conscious and able to process things. The ecstasy of the pain the insane Hiden was feeling stopped him from being able to process his situation. Kakuzu was on high alert. This boy was clearly ready for them. He couldn't afford to worry about his fool of a partner. Right now, his survival instincts were screaming at him to escape this situation and live to fight another day. This was supposed to be an easy snatch and grab mission for the inexperienced Nanabi Jinchuriki. Instead, he was locked in a deathmatch with the Jinchuriki that Toby had warned him about. Once his earth heart had slid into position by replacing the broken wind mask, Kakuzu tried slipping under the barrier through use of the hiding like a mole technique. The jolt he received from the barrier in exchange for his efforts caused him to surface and curse out loud. Naruto had watched the ninja take the firestorm head-on and was cautious of the rogue ninja. He could sense 5 remaining presences combined in his enemy, which put him on guard. After some small shuffling of the man's singed cloak, Naruto sensed earth chakra build-up. He let the ninja try to escape, knowing his barrier would hold him in. Lightning was Earth's only real weakness after all. When the Kakazu was forced to resurface, Naruto attacked with his wakizashi. The fast-paced fight was a blur for the spectating women outside the barrier. They were able to hear the sounds of Naruto's sword hitting something very hard, but it seemed like the battle was going nowhere. Naruto could pick up on the small gashes in the earth armor that Kakazu had coated himself with, but he was surprised that his wakizashi couldn't cut through it despite the wind chakra he had been channeling to the blade. After 5 minutes of non-stop, fast-paced combat, he broke contact with Kakazu to reform a battle plan. When Naruto jumped back, Kakazu caught his breath. His earth armor was as strong as diamonds and this boy's blade was chipping it off little by little. The fact that he couldn't land a hit on the blonde blur frustrated him even further. It was then that Kakazu picked up on 2 blurs running at him. It wasn't until a set of lightning-covered claws tore at his face that he saw they were kitsunes. The 2 kitsune had picked up on the use of earth chakra and only one of them could channel any lightning. Therefore, Kitsune decided to act as a distraction. She would launch volleys of fireballs and attack cautiously from blind spots. She saw her summoner dash through the barrier and knew that she had to buy time. Kitsuyuga was taking advantage of the openings Kitsune created and was trying to land a decisive hit for his summoner. Every time he clawed the masked human, it felt like his lightning-covered claws were going to break off at the tips. Despite landing a number of attacks, all he had to show for it was some claw marks along the arms, abdomen and legs of Kakazu. The 2 kitsune continued the combo attack until Kakazu landed a decisive blow on Kitsuyuga. The summon was forced back to his realm with a couple broken ribs, but its job was done. Meanwhile, Naruto used the distraction created by his fox summons to jump outside the barrier and give Samui a kiss. He asked her for her sword, which she gave with little resistance. The girls and Fu asked to join the fight, but Naruto said he had it under control. He then rejoined the fight, leaving the girls stuck outside of the blue barrier. The girls were starting to get worked up over all of this. I'm going to give it to that Barker good when he is done in there. Ino smashed a fist into her open palm. Does he really think that we can't help him at all? It's really not cool. And he took Stormy from me, added Samui in a subdued voice. I agree, Eni-chan. That Gaki better be ready for what's coming to him. Keeping me out of such a bloody fight. It has got me all worked up and I have nothing to let loose on. Anko's bloodthirst was leaking out in droves. These were the people she had been training to fight and her lover denied her any of the action. Girls, have you been watching the fight? I know we are good, but I can't even track Naruto's movements. Not to mention, Kakazu is in the bingo books for having fought the first Hokage. He escaped the fight with Hashirama after a defeat, but anybody of that caliber is extremely dangerous. Kuretsuki tried to reason with the group, but even she didn't just want to sit and watch her lover do all the work. We should trust NA, oh no. Hinata squeaked out as she saw Kitsuyuga take the hit from Kakazu and go flying. Naruto returned to the fight immediately after Kitsuyuga had been dispelled and used the distraction to attack Kakazu from behind. Naruto had sped around to Kakazu's backside and used his overextended position to dash in with a lunge and stab of Samui's katana. The lightning-covered, storm's edge, pierced through Kakazu's back easily and pierced where the heart should be. The hardened earth armor shattered and fell off of him in flakes as the lightning-covered blade protruded from his chest. Naruto thought he had done it, but he was blown back by a massive fireball that erupted from Kakazu's back. When the smoke cleared, Naruto saw that Kakazu's robe was no more. Instead, a bizarre sight greeted the blonde Jinchuriki. Kakazu's body looked like it was composed of pulsing threads. In these threads were masks for fire, water and lightning. The lightning mask was now positioned where Kakazu's heart should be. The threads were bulging around the fire and water masks until the 2 masks separated from Kakazu's body and formed into some sort of animalistic masses with the masks acting as the head. On Kakazu's back were 2 cracked masks with the kanji for wind and earth on them. As Naruto was processing the bizarre sight, Kakuzu was panicking. He had fought Hashirama Senju back in his prime. Even that great battle didn't inspire the fear that Kakuzu was feeling. He decided to separate his masks and overwhelm his opponent. The blonde just created 2 clones in response. Kakuzu's water mask launched a massive, Sutan, water colliding wave, at the group of Naruto's. Kakuzu channeled lightning chakra through his body and called out, Raiten, Thunderbolt, as he pointed his arm at the mass of water. A massive wave almost half the width of the barrier and 10 feet high, pulsing with a lightning chakra, hurled itself at Naruto and left no angle for escape. Naruto's barrier clone substituted with him to take the hit. Naruto gave a mental thanks to the clone for its sacrifice as he regained his bearings. Before returning to the fight, Naruto created another clone captain to take the position on the barrier. The real Naruto passed through the barrier and flipped through hand seals before whispering, Futon, pressure damage. The massive wind attack, empowered by Kurama's chakra, acted as a blunt force hammer that tore across the battlefield. Kakuzu managed to shield himself and the fire mask, but the water mask took a direct hit and was sent hurtling toward the lightning barrier. Before it could recover itself mid-air, the massive thread slammed into the lightning barrier and was electrocuted. The shock of the lightning chakra cracked the water mask and the threads fell in a tangled heap next to the barrier. Kakuzu called his fire mask back into his body. He couldn't leave it exposed when this boy was handling him so easily. Kakuzu also activated his last defense. Long 20-foot threads emerged from Kakuzu's back, chest and arms. They swayed about randomly and made Kakuzu appear like Wraith with a writhing mass of tentacles. Naruto was cautious of the new form. He had felt how durable those threads were and didn't want to get into their range. Naruto sent 4 clones at the writhing mass and each clone was dispelled easily by the missing ninja. However, after the 4th clone dispelled, Kakuzu was unable to move, and his threads dangled loosely from his body. What the fuck did you do to me, brat? Kakuzu had now lost his cool and was struggling against some invisible bindings. Fuinjutsu is amazing, isn't it? Clones acting as a medium for Fuinjutsu is just as awesome, but I am guessing you wouldn't be able to understand. I will let you see the final form of my father's jutsu before you die. Then, Shinigami-sama will collect your soul. Enjoy your eternal stay in the Shinigami's stomach, Kakuzu. After Naruto said his piece, he formed a Rasengan and funneled wind chakra into it. He stabilized the wind chakra with a thin barrier formed from Kurama's denser chakra. Once it was stable, a high-pitched whining sound was coming from the golden, bladed orb in Naruto's hand. Naruto then hurled the spinning orb at Kakuzu. He tried to break off his fire mask and have it escape, but it was too late. The sphere made contact with his chest and cut straight through him. Immediately after cutting through Kakuzu, the sphere expanded, and the small whine of the wind's blade turned into the shriek of gale force winds. A massive dome composed of millions of tiny wind blades about 40 feet in diameter appeared over the form of Kakuzu. The windstorm lasted for about 10 seconds before dispersing, leaving an eerie silence over the battlefield. Once the dust cleared, all that remained of Kakuzu was a shredded tangle of wire and part of Kakuzu's face. Naruto went to gather the remains of the Jashinist and chuckled as the 2 halves of the head wreathed around in his hands while trying to bite Naruto. Naruto threw the halves of the head by Hiden's hair over to Kakuzu's shredded form. He then carried the body over and unceremoniously dropped in on the ground next to the bisected head. Naruto then had his clones drop the barrier and allowed his wives to walk onto the battlefield. Each one of them was shocked. They knew Naruto was strong, but he just dealt with 2 S-rank ninjas like it was a walk in the park. Kurama had his fist extended, ready for a fist bump, when Naruto entered the mindscape. Naruto wearily bumped fist with Q before laying down on one of his tails. That was a great fight, Kit. I am glad I was here to watch that live in action. Next time, maybe you could summon me so we could share in the fun. However, now we must summon the Shinigami to uphold our end of the bargain. Kurama's voice made no effort to hide the pride he felt in his summoner. Gotcha, Q. I just want to catch my breath and ease my chakra coils for a bit. I want to have a suitable chakra offering for him. Do you really think that Hidden Guy was S-rank? He seemed pretty pathetic. The weariness in Naruto's voice was already fading. Kurama chuckled, well, Kit, When somebody relies on a false immortality, it is no surprise when their battle tactics become sloppy. Not to mention that bunch of Japanese have more than a few screws loose to begin with. When I was free, I used to hunt them. They were some of the most evil and vile ninjas that I ever tasted. After listening to the fake retching sounds Kurama was making, Naruto responded. Yeah, he was sloppy. I did get the feeling that he was dangerous, but he was so slow, and that side was massive and lopsided. It made it easy to find openings. Anyway, we can review the fights later. I need to deal with my girls now. Later, Q. Naruto brought himself back to the present with his girls hovering over him. He was sitting in a meditative posture to calm his riled-up chakra flow. He looked up at the girls and dealt with 5 minutes of reassuring them he was fine. Hugs and kisses rained down on him along with shouts of indignation for not letting them help him. A kiss from Anko was followed by a slap across his face. Naruto diffused this tense situation by informing them of his deal with the Shinigami and saying that these were the two the Shinigami had requested he kill in exchange for Kurama's other half and his father's soul. The girls were already stunned speechless by the story, but when Naruto got up and informed them that they would be meeting the Shinigami, they nearly pissed themselves. Ladies, the Uzumaki clan had a long-standing relationship with the Shinigami in the past. I intend on rekindling that relationship and honoring my ancestors. You are part of my family, and as the matriarchs of the Uzumaki and Namikaze clans, I wish for you to join me in honoring that arrangement. Is that all right with everyone? His voice softened for the last part and he got nods in response from all of his girls. Naruto stood up from his meditative pose and returned to his golden cloaked state. Naruto then went through the long chain of hand seals to summon the death god. He made a blood offering and then slammed his hand on the ground. The whole surrounding environment stilled, and a frigid presence settled upon the landscape. Naruto bowed deeply as he sensed the presence and his wives followed suit. Fu was standing there without a clue as to what was going on before listening to Chomai's screams and bowing as well. Shinigami-sama, I am honored that you answered my call. I offer you the gifts of my chakra and the 2 humans you requested I hunt. Naruto was bent over in an L-shaped bow. The Shinigami's raspy voice answered Naruto, you have done well, mortal. These are indeed the 2 I assigned you. The Shinigami paused here and extended its long, spindly fingers to grab the souls out of Hiden and Kakazu. It raised the writhing, ethereal masses to its mouth and chomped down. With that, your debt is paid. Thank you, Shinigami-sama. As we spoke of previously, I wish for my clan to once again partner with your excellence. These are my wives and future matriarchs of the Uzumaki and Namikaze clans. I wish to introduce you to them to rekindle our relationship, Shinigami-sama. The Shinigami let out a loud and scratchy laugh before it snapped its fingers. The frigid atmosphere vanished, and the group was drawn into the death god's dimension. The Shinigami was seated on an ornate throne and there were chairs positioned in front of a fireplace. The Shinigami made a motion with its hand and Naruto's group sat in the chairs. The whole environment was awkwardly cozy. Then, the Shinigami morphed into a beautiful, pale-skinned woman. Unlike her summoned form, her skin glimmered with an ethereal sheen. The mess of pale white hair was now groomed into a dignified ponytail. A beautiful and regal face hovered over a pair of breasts that put Sunids to shame. All the girls remained frozen in a stunned silence as they took in the newfound beauty of the death god. Very well, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. I will allow you to be my agents in the realm of the living. You may call me Shin and drop the formalities when we are not in public. I ask that you now introduce your wives. The regal tone had a beautiful and mysterious ring to it. Naruto rose and once again bowed. Shin, these are my wives Anko, Samui and Ino who will be heading the Namikaze clan. These are Kuretsuki, Hinata and Haku who will be the matriarchs of the Uzumaki clan. It is my wish to have both of my houses serve you. As he introduced the girls, they each stood and bowed to Shin. Once he was finished, Shin returned the bows with a nod of her head. Shin let out an enchanting chuckle. It is pleasant to have patrons once again. Come forward, Naruto, and please release Kurama so that I may address him as well. Naruto let Q out in his human form before Shin continued. Kurama, it has been ages since we last spoke. How have you been, young kit? Q's face wrinkled in frustration. This damned eternal being always called him that. He wrestled his features before responding to the Shinigami. As of late, I have been content, Shin. However, I must ask that you do not address the head of the Kitsune clan as Kit. You may use my name. His tone sounded rather petulant, which made Naruto stifle a laugh. Shin waved him off and adopted a serious look on her face. As you know, I had previously bound your souls together. I did not expect young Naruto-kun here to gain your trust and power so rapidly. Tell me, Kurama, do you find your current arrangement agreeable? After a slight moment of hesitation, Kurama answered. Yes, Shin, I do. I will assist Naruto throughout his life. However, he has agreed to free me upon his death. Will you honor that arrangement? Ah, yes, yes I will. I never thought I would see the day that you would willingly forfeit your freedom. I had planned on making an offer to free you from your seal. Are you sure you do not wish to accept? Kurama paused here and looked at Naruto. Naruto mouthed that it was his choice. He was torn on what to do, but he remembered the promise made to Naruto. Shin, I do appreciate your offer. When the Kit here dies of old age with hordes of grandkids, then I will take you up on your offer. I made a promise to Naruto to partner with him. He has earned the right to my respect and power, and I feel that I will honor my father by sticking with the Kit. Shin let out a pleasant laugh that entranced Naruto and his group. She clicked her fingers and an old man with white hair, a stern-aged face and horns materialized. He wore a Magatama necklace with 6 Magatama. His long white monk's cloak also had Magatama on the neckline. Shin clicked her fingers and Q and the old man disappeared. Now, Naruto-kun, while those two are catching up, why don't you answer a question for me? Why do you seek to restore the pact with me and your clan? Simple. I seek to restore the greatness of the Uzumaki clan. I read about the prior arrangement and saw it as a net positive. I trust that you will not abuse my power and that you will use me to maintain balance in the realm of the living. My wives are a part of me and will assist me in this effort, should you so wish. In return for a lifetime of service, I ask that you let us reside together in the pure world. They are each an integral part of my soul and I wish to stay with them after death. The sincerity of his tone brought tears to each girl present. When Shin looked at him, they each nodded their heads in affirmation of Naruto's words. Shin adorned an ethereal smile. Very well, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. I hereby name you, my champion. You will be an extension of my will in the realm of the living. You will lead your wives and future generations to maintain the balance in my name. You will target the tainted souls of evil men. In exchange, you can call on me without a chakra or soul offerings. You, your wives and your future children will be sent to the highest realm of the pure world upon the deaths, so long as they honor our contract. I grant you this seal, which will store the souls of those you slay and those that have not yet passed to the pure world. I will call you to my realm once a year to collect those souls and lay them to rest. Any questions? Naruto's mind was racing. He may have read about the relationship with the Shinigami in his ancestral texts, but this was a lot to take in. He took a deep breath to calm his thoughts and looked at the new seal on the palm of his right hand. It mirrored the intricate seal on his stomach, which made him think of Kurama. Shin, I would ask that you free and protect Kurama in the event of my untimely death. There are those that seek to control him and the other Biju. If I fall in battle, I ask you to release him from the seal and offer him protection. I do not plan on dying, but I would feel better knowing that Q will be taken care of should I fall. Shin had seen her fair share of humans pass through the gates to her realm. She rarely if ever saw a human put something before itself. This child was marvelous. Very well, Naruto-kun. Should that come to pass, I will offer Kurama my protection. Now, the one named Yakushi Kabuto is using that cursed jutsu to steal souls from my realm. He is the next one I ask you to punish. You will find he has joined the organization you are fighting against. Please excuse me, I must go brag to Kami and Yami about my new champion. She moved before anyone could process it and placed a chilling kiss on Naruto's forehead. The group snapped back to the living realm and found their bodies hadn't moved. It looked as though no time had passed because Fu was just standing there looking confused. Naruto was rubbing his forehead as he promised to explain later before sealing up the lifeless remains of Hiden and Kakazu. He looked down at his hand and saw the seal of the Shinigami. The girls all looked at it too. They were all in shock from meeting a deity of this world that just acted all buddy-buddy with their Naruto-kun. After Naruto sealed up the remains, he went with the girls back to the campsite. Later that night, while he was lying in a pile of his girls, Naruto felt Kurama's conscience return to his mind. How did it go, Q? That guy the sage of six paths, right? Naruto asked internally. Yes, Kit. I cannot tell you much of what we spoke of. However, my father confirmed something that is a big deal to me, Kit. It may be revealed in time, but it was a great gift being able to speak with him again. Naruto didn't know what to say to that, so he settled with, aha. Kurama let him rest for the night, they will have plenty of time to talk about it later. The group began the return trip to Taki late in the next morning. Jiraiya had finally found them and then entered a gobsmacked state when Naruto told him about his fight with Hiden and Kakazu. Jiraiya remained in a stunned state until they returned to Taki. They appeared in front of Taki's council and gave the hero's water back to Shibuki. Then Naruto unsealed the remains of Kakazu's body and the prisoner Suien. The elders reacted the way Naruto expected, with an uproar. After Shibuki calmed them down, Naruto addressed them. I do not know what decision this council has come to, but heed my warning. Last night, Hiden and Kakazu, your own missing ninja, attacked me on their search for Fu. Their organization wants the Biju for some nefarious purpose. While I was able to deal with said threat, I assure you that nobody in this village, nor the village as a whole, could have dealt with them. The next person they send will be stronger than these two. Allow Fu to come with us and the target will be taken off your village. I also suspect a traitor on your council, since they were heading directly toward where we were dispatched for our mission. I leave that for you to deal with. I will expect the bounties to be paid out with our mission pay. I will leave you with that. Do not call me back here until you have come to a decision. Naruto's tone was deadly serious and carried a finality with it. He walked out of the room accompanied by his girls and Jiraiya. As Naruto left the room, the Taki council was in an uproar. Shibuki was still young and couldn't take proper control over the council, so they pretty much ran roughshod over him. The screams back and forth about the Uzumaki brat started giving Shibuki a headache. They were all frustrated because they realized there was absolutely nothing they could do. Konoha and the Great Five had them by the balls and all parties knew it. It was when he heard things like, we should join the coalition of minor nations and, fuck the Great Five, that Shibuki stepped in and shut them council down. He spent much of that day getting the council to acknowledge their current situation and pointing out the folly of rebellion. After all, they did get a sizable payment, preferable trade deals and a defense agreement out of this debacle. With that, most of the council was satiated, but Shibuki would later assign a team to investigate each councillor and sniff out the potential traitor. Fu showed the group a hidden pool that she uses for swimming and relaxation. The girls put on their bathing suits and joined Naruto for an afternoon of fun, flirting and swimming. That G-rated fun lasted for 30 minutes before going X-rated. More than a few loads of spunk were added to the clear waters that afternoon to Fu's amazement. Fu simply marveled at the positive energy and love the group had, along with the complete lack of shame. She did choose to fly away after multiple girls started moaning though. As far as Naruto was concerned, it was a great way to pass the time. The next morning, Naruto got the council's answer. They would let Fu reside in Konoha, but they would not release their claim on her. Naruto didn't care. Once they were out of this damned village they could do nothing to him or Fu ever again. They signed the treaty and that is all that matters. They couldn't pay out the bounty for Kakazu in full, but they did pay Naruto half of the money up front. Naruto didn't bother with pleasantries after receiving his pay. He allowed enough time for Fu to say her goodbyes to Shibuki, but he couldn't give a fuck less about the counselors standing behind him. Naruto joined hands with Fu while his girls all put a hand on him. He flashed golden and then used the Hiraishin to appear outside the Hokage's office. He told the girls to go home and get some rest while he and Fu reported into the Hokage. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.